What's up? This is your host, Non-Fungible TC, Non-Fungible today and Non-Fungible tomorrow. And to be very honest, I'm not feeling so happy today. I did think about not doing the show for today because guess who brought the top yesterday? Me. I brought the top yesterday, but I decided that this channel is kind of like a blog where I share my thoughts on the markets and also about the in general, right? To share daily news. So you need conviction to do it, even though if it's a bad market or a good market, right? But one of the takeaway is that tomorrow the consumer production price index is coming out, right? So based on that consumer price index, the market will see whether inflation has been controlled in July. Okay, if the index is very high, it means that inflation has not been controlled. Then if it's higher than like 8%, I think what will happen is that the market will dump further down. But if it's maybe 8% ish and also or even below that, then market we could potentially see a rally. Okay, and the reason for that is because it means that the Fed's interest rate hike is solving the problem, and therefore they no longer have to increase interest rate again, or maybe they no longer have to increase interest rate, but they could slow down the interest rate hikes, which result in a more risk on environment to a certain extent, right? People are more willing to borrow money to invest and stuff like that. So today, the reason why we're doing this downturn, we're seeing this downturn, is very likely because of investors want to risk off, right? Because you see that, these risk off happen at the end of the trading for Asian market, right? So I guess to a certain extent, Asian market want to de-risk. They want to see how the market is tomorrow, so they decide to sell, and therefore we do see like this downward movement. And now Ethereum is back at like 1.7k. Me, I never trade on my advice or anything, but none of this is financial advice. I bought at 1.8k yesterday, but I do have conviction of the space in the long term in the future, and I'll share with you why. I personally just looking at Ethereum because of the merge, and I just think that Ethereum itself has different type of utility in the long term. So anyway, today's news about Tornado Cash. So if you missed it, what happened is that the US Treasury, yesterday blacklisted Tornado Cash on Monday, right? And it will do more just down to tech criminals, right? Many ordinary crypto investors are likely to be heard experts say. So for those of you who do not know what is Tornado Cash, so Tornado Cash is actually a mixer on several blockchains, and what it does is that basically, for example, if you want to transfer cryptocurrency anonymously, one way to do that is say you could deposit money in Tornado Cash. So it is a mixer, right? So several people deposit money into Tornado Cash, and then using that pool of cash of money, they withdraw it to another wallet, right? So the person receiving the wallet, because it's not directly being transacted from wallet A to wallet B, but it is transacted to wallet A to a mixer, like the middleman, and then direct to B, then it's very hard to really track where the source of the fund comes from, right? But this is not anonymous though, because if you are looking at cryptocurrency, you can actually check how much maybe wallet A deposits into the Tornado Cash, and how much another wallet B withdraws from Tornado Cash, to pinpoint who put the money in and who withdraw the money, right? So it is not 100% anonymous, but what happened was that a lot of hackers were using that. So there's a lot of crypto exploit. What happened is that once they hack someone, once they got a fund, what they'll do is they'll use Tornado Cash in order to rush the funds away, to kind of hide the tracks, and then withdraw to maybe like a centralized exchange or OTC counter, right? So that's how people withdraw money. So what happened was that this service was actually blacklisted, right? So what happened is that if you look at this, crypto leaders decry tyranny of Tornado Cash ban. Because when we talk about cryptocurrency, one of the biggest selling point, a rallying point, is that it is about anti-censorship, right? Web3 is about anti-censorship. But it seems that what happened is that because Tornado Cash was blacklisted, a lot of associated services have to cut the connection with Tornado Cash. For example, the developer of Tornado Cash, his GitHub account was actually suspended, right? And anyone who contributed to Tornado Cash, because it was an open source project on GitHub, had their account suspended, right? So all the associated services are suspended. And also, what other people are saying that, it isn't really helpful. Law-abiding Americans are the ones that will be hurt by this, and it is not only Americans. Like anyone globally is being affected because the server level of Tornado Cash is actually hosted in like a server, right? The blockchain is decentralized, so you can't really block that in a sense. But the website itself is hosted in a certain server. So if that server has certain regulatory requirement to follow what the US Treasury says, then it might, remove the hosting of the website. So a lot of people cannot go to Tornado Cash anymore. So what happened is that a lot of source code disappeared from GitHub, okay? And at the same time, people are saying that, oh, we need a decentralized censorship-resistant GitHub. And, yeah, so... the Web3 community is not happy about this, right? Because, you're blocking people the usage of a Web3 service provider, right? Like a platform. And the thing I really want to talk about is that it really brings out a great question about censorship. Because if you look at this thread, right, it's happening. Infura, IO, and Alchemy platform are now blocking RPC requests to Tornado Cash. Centralized RPC servers are one of the cancers that undermine the core benefits of crypto. As long as they dominate the market, no protocol is truly permissionless. So basically what this means is that MetaMask, like one of the really popular wallets, right, is actually using the Infura RPC connection, right? So it uses this connection to interact with the platform. So what it means is that now all MetaMask account can no longer interact with the Tornado Cash account because this centralized network, like this, entry point is, in order to carry out what the censorship, what the blacklisting requirements, they no longer give you service to Tornado Cash, right? So basically, the reason why I understand this is that a while back, if you remember, a lot of Iranian NFT artists were removed from OpenSea because of censorship. A lot of Iranians cannot use MetaMask because Infura, blocked the connection to the MetaMask. So it really tells you that it shows you the weakness to a certain extent of the Web3 situation we are in right now, right? Is it really censorship resistant, right? Let's say for example the government decides to ban a certain DeFi exchange or whatever. They can do it using infrastructure. They can ban all the probably IP address, or they could ban infrastructures related to that DeFi protocol and making you unable to use the service, right? So is the status right now Web3 really censorship resistant? And that's the question I want to bring to you. And interestingly, not a while ago, Iran makes the first import order using cryptocurrency, Tasnim report. So if you do not know, Iran is actually a country that's been censored by the US, right? So what happened is that Iran made its first official import order using cryptocurrency this week. The semi-official agency reported on Tuesday, a move that can enable the Islamic Republic to circumvent U.S. sanctions that have crippled the economy, right? The order worth $10 million was the first step towards allowing the country to trade for digital assets that bypass the dollar-dominated global financial system, right? So, so we do have this news. Some people say this is very bullish. Because look at this transaction, right? It's a 10 million transaction, and it is a nation state, using cryptocurrency, right? So it's similar to like the El Salvador thing. But some people say, oh, this could also be very bearish as well, because maybe the U.S. government is gonna do more clamp down on certain protocols or whatever, right? So it is kind of like a double-edged sword. But it's interesting that after this happened, this just happened, right? So a lot of things, maybe there are some dots that we could connect. So moving on to traditional news, I decided to do my streams maybe shorter, on a daily basis. I'm trying to keep them below 10 minutes, so I'll be very fast, okay? 5 things to note. As I said, stock futures are like in general the market is kind of uneasy. People are de-risking because there's a consumer price index tomorrow, but it seems that consumers expect inflation to ease for last month. So we did receive good news yesterday. Okay, responding to New York Fed's monthly survey of consumer expectations that they believe inflation will persist at the pace of 6.2 for the next year, and at 3.2 over the next 3 years. So numbers are so high, but people are thinking that inflation is being at ease. But we'll have to see, right? So this is a really quick overview of the traditional news right now, and also the reason why we do see this the risk event happening in crypto, right? And that's why we have a sea of red. Don't really want to cover this, but I brought the top at Ethereum at 1,800, and now it's at 1,700. Lost quite a bit, but I think we need conviction. And the reason for that is actually tomorrow, in 1 day and 23 hours, around 2 days, right after the CPI, right? Around sometime right after CPI, the Ethereum final testnet is gonna test its merge, right? So if this final testnet is merged, and there's no delay, this could be very bullish for Ethereum, right? Because we will have the Ethereum 2.0 finally coming in 33 days. And for me, yes, I'm losing money on this trade quite a bit, but I do think that Ethereum could have, like, not financial advice, there is a strong narrative behind it. Would Ethereum one day go back to 1,800? Absolutely, right? Or would it go even higher? I think so. But is it going to be a short term? We never know, right? So you really need these convictions to tell yourself that, hey, Ethereum, Bitcoin is here to stay, right? Even though how the market looks like. Because look, Citibank is hiring a DeFi stablecoin risk manager as part of its crypto push. So it really shows that banks are trying to explore DeFi and maybe use these services if possible. So Citibank is a big group, right? So this is part of their broad push to hire up to 100 individuals to build out a digital asset division within the institutional client group. So they are trying to target institutional investors, giving them exposure to DeFi and things like that. And then next, so the reason why I pulled up Cointelegraph is that it really shows you that something is really happening right now. And that's the Korean blockchain week. If you do not know, there's a there's a blockchain event happening in Korea. So today is the second day, and there are some different type of news coming up for the market, right? But I do think that because right now the market is being dominated, the crypto market is being dominated by the traditional maybe Nasdaq, right? It's very hard for it to run by itself. So usually you see these rallies happening during the weekend, right? So even if the first 5 days isn't looking good, I do think that if the testnet is successful, if there's bullish catalyst, Ethereum itself could depeg from the traditional equities market and do its own run, right? But it'll be interesting to really see. But we need to have conviction, right? So moving on to NFT news. So for NFT news, Truth in Advertising is basically a consumer group in the US. They demand that several celebrities to really disclose the NFT holdings, right? So a lot of celebrities have been promoting different type of NFTs, but they didn't really disclose the conflict of interest or anything, right? So this consumer group called out to these celebrities saying that, hey, and one of the things that they said is actually quite good is that what they're saying is that, hey, as celebrities, you have you have a fortune and you could afford to lose money, right? You could afford to lose, just holding these JPEG. But consumers themselves might not have that ability to do so, right? And therefore, we do need some protection for consumers. Celebrities, please disclose your NFT connections, right? Like, do you own the NFT? How much you're making from this? You got a body, right? Who it was gifted to you, or did you buy out of your pocket, right? So I think it's always good that one thing we have to know is that Web3 is a space that is always evolving, that we're all still learning, and at the same time we're still building the space up, right? So I think the beautiful thing is that regulations, consumer groups, and consumers, celebrities, all type of parties, we're all involved in this process and building a new type of technology, right? I wouldn't say it's the next iteration of the internet because that's the metaverse, but Web3 is like another set of different type of space, right? You have the Web2 space, you have the Web3 space, and then you have the metaverse, right? So I think this is great. I mean, hopefully celebrities will be more open to share about the conflicts or probably interests that is not that obvious, right? So that's it for today's news. Just expect that in near future I'm gonna do more shorter stream because I do think that it will be better and beneficial to do shorter streams and just to focus on the news headline like today where we talk about the tornado cash. But it is interesting to see the state of the decentralized web right now because there are some centralized touch points that could affect the whole bigger ecosystem and affect the bigger idea of decentralization and censorship resistant, even though if it's on the blockchain. So that's it, guys. If you like the content, remember to like and subscribe, share, and this is your host Non-Fungible TC signing out.